तो यहाँ से तुम लोग दिख रहे हो। बैक से हटाओ पीछे वो Hello, my dear students. May I know your name, please? Can you hear me? Abrarul and Anjali,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
can you hear me? So are
Yeah,
you
I can.
attending this course?
Yes.
How did you find this course? I mean, are you able to understand?
Yeah, it's good. So
Okay.
far, it's yeah.
Okay, so I am Professor Urus Ilyas. I'm teaching wildlife sciences in Department of Wildlife Sciences in Aligarh Muslim University. So I have proposed this course, environmental studies. We all know why this course is important. Because Supreme Court given an order that this course should be a mandatory course at the school level, and the UGC University Grant Commission make it mandatory that it should be taught in undergraduate level. No, the course is important because um, we are seeing lots of things happening in this world. We can see lots of climate change, and we are very much dependent on the nature. Since very long, what we are doing, we are taking everything from the nature, and without realizing that we are not giving it back anything. We are dependent on the fuel wood, fodder, timber, everything you name, you have in your room, that all comes from the nature. The actually importance of the nature we realized during the COVID period. So during the COVID period, what we did, lots of people suffered because of the COVID, and we needed oxygen. And those times, the oxygens were very, very expensive. So we actually bought the oxygen from the environment, from the market. And those oxygens were just gone, the video has gone. So those oxygen were actually very expensive. Even I bought for one of my friend for more than 20,000. So all the things were black marketing, and people take advantage. It only we realize for 8 hours. In normal cases, we have to pay 800 rupees, and that oxygen we are taking from the environment free of cost without realizing what we are taking. The same thing is happening with the. It is just the one example of the oxygen, but there are lots of things like fuel we are taking from the environment, fuel wood. Those people who are living very close to the forest area and far from all the facilities, they are totally dependent on the natural resources. Those natural resources could be the fuel, fodder, timber, fodder for their cattle, because it is well known, well accepted in India, that all the people living in the villages, or in even in the urban areas, the house without a cattle is not a house. So we are used to of it, and if possible, we keep the cattle for milking cattle, especially, so that we can have milk, pure milk, and all. So in old houses, if we go to our nani dadi, or most of us are staying in the villages, so we realize that we are getting everything from the environment, whether it's a milk, whether it's a fuel, fodder, timber, whatever, you just name anything. And I mean, the clothes we are wearing are coming from the environment, kapas and reshams. They all are coming from the environment. So we are taking so much in the environment. So this course was launched by the UGC, and to make you all aware about the environment. So the nature has got a lot for us. It has got a lot for us to sustain us. If we are thinking about the nature, we are keeping ourselves in the center, and everything we are thinking is everything, whatever we are thinking, is related to us for our sustenance, how we can do better and better. So the environment is very important because we are totally dependent, and that is why UGC made it mandatory that it is important, and we should realize, because of the accessible exploitation, we need uh, we need limited fuel wood, but what we are doing, we are uh, extracting more and more. So nature has got everything for the need, but not for the greed. So what we are doing, we are doing the exploitation of the nature. In result, what we are seeing, uncertain rains. Like if you go to the urban area, even most of the rural area has got the air condition. Fine, we are living in the tropical countries, so we need, because of the increased temperature rise, we need something so that we can we stay comfortably. So people are using AC, but instead of one AC, people are using more than required. And because of these activities, if you go to the roads, you will see lots of four-wheeler. Earlier, what was happening? Only few people were keeping the four-wheeler, and having the four-wheeler in the house was a luxury. It was a luxurious item. Not everyone could have afford. But because of the development, because of the urbanization, and because of the price relaxation, the lower middle class family can also afford the four-wheeler. Now, easily we can buy the cars and all. So we are good. So buying the car for our comfort is fine, but what we are doing, the emission of the gases from those cars, emission of the gases from the AC, emission of the different kind of gases from different kind of activities we are involved with, making the environment hotter and hotter. We have two major things to absorb the carbon. Carbon is an important component for our survival. Without carbon, we cannot think of anything. Okay, so carbon is important, but excessive carbon is bad for the environment. There are two important components which absorb the carbon. One is the green cover, the trees, the forest, the jungle, and the oceans. So what they do, the green trees absorb the carbon, and in return they release the oxygen. We all know since our childhood. Okay, and the the oceans also absorb the carbon, excess carbon. Some we use, and some we use, and some excess is absorbed by the plants and the ocean. But because of the cutting of the forest, excessive cutting of the forest, we have lost the green cover. Only 27% green cover is available in in India. That is actually not true. 25% green cover. Government is trying to maintain 27%, but less than we have green cover. So less green cover means less carbon sequestration, less carbon absorption. The oceans, we are throwing all our garbage in the oceans. Okay. So what we are doing by throwing the garbage in the ocean, sewage. अगर आप बॉम्बे की picture देखें, if you see the pictures of the Bombay, all these sewage is going into the ocean. So those garbage are untreated. Whatever we are throwing, they are untreated. So what we are doing, we are actually polluting the oceans. And because of that, because of the less green cover, because of the pollution, these two are not able to absorb the excess carbon. So presence of the excess carbon in the environment making the climate very hot. And this temperature is increasing day by day, day by day, day by day. And what is happening? This is bringing the climate change, global warming, the increasing temperature in different temperature. Carbon is just one, this thing. Carbon is just one component, but there are many gases together. They are increasing the temperature of the earth. And because of the increased temperature on the earth, the global warming is taking place. Global warming means the climate is being changed. The rain, we used to receive rain during the June. 15 June was the National Rainy Day in India. But usually we receive the rain Not in June, not in July, by the end of the August. Very few rains in June 1 or 2. Otherwise, we used to have, I remember in my childhood, we used to have rain throughout the June, throughout the July. We used to have holidays in schools. But today is the rainy day. So there won't be class because students are not able to reach to the. So these things are gradually, these things are increasing and increasing. And the climate change is shift of the climate. Suppose in Kashmir, the snowfalls take place during the December and January. But what is happening in Kashmir in the high altitude? The the rain, they don't have rain. Kashmir has no rain. They basically have snowfall during the December and January. But when it is, raining, but what is happening? Instead of January, it is raining in the February. After 30th January, if it rains, means if 30th January it rains, means the rain will be in the form of the water, not in the form of the ice. Because of that, the glaciers are melting. If they have the snowfall during December and till the 30th January, they will be having the snow, and because of increase in snowfall, will have the good ice cover. And these ice mountains are actually giving us the water. But if it is raining after the 30th, instead of snow, it is raining, and the ice caps are melting. And because of this melt, and this is happening because of the climate change, and because of this melting of the ice, the snow covered hills are also suffering, as well as the sea level is also increasing. And this increase in sea level is bringing lots of natural calamities like flood, lots of natural calamities. And because of this cutting of the trees, what is happening? Many landslides. Landslides are taking places. Okay. So these landslide, the increase in the sea level is actually creating problem for our um, for us. We not only we are suffering, but whole in nature, whole environment is suffering. So because keeping all these things in mind, because of the climate change, because of the global warming, UGC mandated this course to be taught at the graduation level, so that we should make ourselves aware about the environment, and we help the environment so that we can do better and better. Whatever has been done, whatever damage has been done, that damage should not be done more. We should protect, we should be aware about our surrounding, and we should protect the environment. So this was the mandate and the sensitization program. If you from the childhood, if you have the belonging with the nature, it means you are going to do something. You understand, you won't be abusing the environment, you won't be wasting, you will be using, reusing, recycling. For example, these poly bags, one time use poly bags, for example, I'm just giving you a small example. The most of the big cities are having the problem of the sewage choke problem. All the drainage are being choked because of the poly bags. We do not have proper disposal of those poly bags. We are buying the things in the poly bag. The vendor, the poor person who is selling the vegetable is bound to give you poly bags, because if he doesn't have, you won't be buying, because you are not carrying your bag, your cloth bag, you're not carrying. Most of us are not carrying the cloth bag, which we used to carry in few years back. Now we are simply going and buy the thing, and the vendor is very poor person. He has to sustain himself. He has to sell the thing, because whatever he is going to earn, that will be that will sustain his family. So he's bound to give the poly bags. And those poly bags you are using, that those are one time use, you are using and just throwing in the garbage without realizing what is the future, what this poly bags is going to do for the environment. These poly bags are going into the nalis and choking all the sewage system and creating problem. Not only this, if you on a fertile land, if you put the poly bag and cover with this, it will take thousands of years to grow anything on that land. If you go all the metropolitan city, they all are having the garbage hill. Huge. Even Delhi has got one hill with lots of garbage, and that garbage is mainly the main component of that garbage is the poly bags and electronic waste. We have electronics. Everyone has got the mobile, but we do not know what to do the batteries when they are not working. We still do not have proper management of those batteries. So these all are adding up because we are not aware. Whatever we are using for daily life, we are not aware of what we are going to do with the batteries, what we are going to do with the poly bags. We are simply throwing out in the garbage, and those garbage are creating havoc to the environment. And because of that, the global warming as well as the climate change are taking place. So this was the mandate of the UGC, and that is why they mandated this course. They made it compulsory to understand the environment, how to manage, what is the environment. Under this environmental study course, we'll be studying what is the environment, how we are going to manage, why it is important. So everything will be. So I would like to share the course structure we have developed for, and I believe you must have covered most of the thing. Okay, so let me share one. So the first week we have already completed. So first week we taught you the environment and its multidimensional nature, definition, scopes, and the importance. So we discussed about the environment. We discussed about the environment, its multidimensional nature, and definition. So in week first, we gave the assignment, and assignment was in the form of the MCQs. It is this unit is designed to understand what we are going to study in the rest of the courses. When we discuss about the environment and its multidimensional nature, we came to the second week, that is renewable and non-renewable resources. We have two kind of resources. One is renewable, another is the renewable. One thing you can recreate. Forest, if you cut, you can recreate. But if the water is finished, you cannot recreate. Okay. Minerals, if minerals will finish, you cannot recreate. So there are certain things which you can create. There are certain things which you cannot create. So we have discussed about these renewable and non-renewable resources. These are the resources which give us the energy to survive everything. Like renewable and non-renewable resources, we discussed about the forest, how important is the forest, and by losing the forest, how it is having the bad negative impact on us. We discussed about the forest, water, and food. Again, in week 3, we discussed about the renewable and non-renewable resources. And during third week, we discussed about the minerals, energy, and land resource. Minerals. Minerals are the backbone of any country. The country which is having the minerals include diamond, also coal, also mica, everything you just name. So the country which is having the more and more mineral is the strongest. United States of America is having lots of minerals. Lots of minerals. We are also having minerals, but not as much as the US. And that is why they are making lots of things like guns. They are making guns, cannons, and all these things. And they are earning quite a lot. So these are the so we will be discussing renewable and non-renewable sources in week 2 and the week 3, and we'll be discussing about the forest. We have discussed forest, water, and food, how they are important. If they are not available, how we are going to survive. minerals, energy, and land resources. We have discussed in the week 3. And week 4 is about the concept of ecosystem. It's a component types of ecosystem. Since we are talking about the environment, so ecosystem, the ecosystem where we live. What kind of ecosystem we are staying, we are living in? Forest ecosystem, grassland, aquatic, and desert. These are the ecosystem we are living in, the forest, grassland, and aquatic, desert. And we are dependent on these kind of ecosystem. Apart from that, we have many more. And within this ecosystem, under the week 5, we have discussed about the food chain, food web, and ecological pyramid. Food chain. We have two kind of living organism. One are the autotroph and another are the heterotroph. Autotrophs are those who can make their own food, like plants. So plants, because in presence of the chlorophyll, they can make their own chlorophyll and the sunlight, they can make their own food. Okay. So they are autotroph. They are not dependent on anyone. They just need soil, water, and humidity. However, we, the Homo sapiens and the animals, human being and the animals, we cannot create our own food. We are totally dependent on the plant material. We are totally dependent on the nature. Nature in the form of the food. So biodiversity is not only the forest, but biodiversity is the whatever you are growing in your kitchen garden is the part of the biodiversity. All the living thing. So food is also the part of the biodiversity, and we are growing food. We are having the India is basically we all are farmers in first or second generation. We have the farmers, and we have grown up from the farmers. Our ancestor were the farmer. That was the when most of this urbanization took place around the river system, Ganges river system. People found the rivers and they established themselves there because the water is very, very important to sustain, and they had the land there to grow their food. So we all were totally dependent on the water and the agricultural land. Whatever we are growing, we are having it, and the water is actually without water we cannot. So all the urbanization took place around the river system. Still, most of the factories, most of the companies are around the rivers. So that for everything you need the water, not only drinkable water, for everything we need the water, whether it's agriculture, whether it's factories or whatever. So water is very, very important. So all the establishment took place, started from the water. Now we are supplying water to everywhere through, like we have municipal water in our houses. We are not in near the river, but still we are getting because the government is providing water to each families. So food, this ecosystem, food chain, food web, and ecological pyramids are the important component, and we are dependent on the plants because they are the autotroph and we are the heterotrophs. So we have many varieties. Some are carnivores, some are herbivores, but directly we are dependent on the food plants. Suppose there is a tiger tiger doesn't eat the grasses and the plants. So what they feed on? They feed on the animals. They feed on the herbivores, they feed on the grasses and plants. Okay, so this is called the food chain. And multiple food chain makes the food webs, and these food webs makes the ecological pyramid. Ecological pyramid, terrestrial ecological pyramid is at the top it is narrow, and at the bottom it is top there is a tiger, and at the bottom we have the vegetation, the grasses, the herbs, the grasses, okay, everything. So the pyramid is narrow, the flow of energy is like this. So we have discussed about the food chain, food web, and the ecological pyramid during week 4. And week 6 is the biological cycle. whatever we have in the environment. Biological cycle means we discuss about the water, we discuss about the carbon, we discuss about the oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. How these cycles are important for us, this is what we have discussed during week 6. And then after completing the week 6, we discuss about the biodiversity and its style during week 7. And biodiversity, what is biodiversity? Biodiversity is the diversity of all the living things. It doesn't mean biodiversity doesn't mean the flora and fauna in the jungle, in the forest, but biodiversity means everything growing on the earth, everything existing on the earth, which is breathing is the biodiversity, which is living is the biodiversity. It's a plant or animal or anything. So if you're growing something, if you're growing coriander in your kitchen garden, that is also the part of biodiversity. If you're taking fuel wood from the forest, that is also the biodiversity. So there are 3 types of biodiversity we discussed in week 7, the genetic, species, and ecosystem diversity. Genetic diversity means we have more than 4,000. We have 4,000 variety of the rice. India is very rich in the rice crop. We have more than, so this is the genetic diversity, how diverse we are within the genes. So this is the genetic diversity. Then we have species diversity. We have frogs, we have snakes, we have apes, we have monkeys. So these are the species diversity. And we also discuss about the ecosystem diversity. The India is very, very rich. The whole world is very, very diverse because we know from equator, either we go up towards the North Pole or the South Pole, the temperature varies. And because of the vary in the temperature and humidity, the climatic condition as well as the topographical condition, geographical conditions are also being changed. We have tropical countries, we have temperate countries. Tropical countries which are very close to the equator, and temperate countries which are far from the equator, much colder climate. Okay, so the tropical countries are more diverse because they have being at very close to the equator, they have high rainfall, high humidity, and um, um, moisture. So when you have these 3 combinations, you have more and more number of species. For example, during the monsoon period, the curd, if you keep the curd during the humid environment, if you keep the curd outside, if you make the curd and keep outside, and you forget to keep back into the fridge after it is actually become complete curd, it will further having the bacterial activities because of the climatic condition. And after some time, it will be rotten, it will be smelling. So bacterial activities, all the activities are higher, are fast during the monsoon period, during the humid period. So humidity, rainfall, they also make the environment very, very conducive to grow the new things. So the countries which are close to the equator are having high temperature, humidity, rainfall, having the more biodiversity. More biodiversity means more plants and animals. So week 7, we discuss about the genetic, species, and ecosystem diversity. Week 8, we discuss about the mega biodiversity countries. There are 17 mega biodiversity countries. What are the mega biodiversity countries? Mega biodiversity countries are those countries which are contributing the maximum diversity. India is one, we are contributing 7 to 8% of the biodiversity into the world biodiversity. And these mega biodiversity countries are having the maximum number of the endemic species. Now, what is endemic species? Endemic species are those species which are distributed at a very narrow space, a very, very limited range, like Nilgiri langur. You cannot find Nilgiri langur anywhere else in the world, only in India, in the Nilgiri Himalaya, Nilgiri hills. Okay, so endemic species are those which are having the higher conservation priority, which needs the conservation protection because they are distributed to a limited areas and they are not found anywhere else in the world. So it is our duty to protect the most threatened species. And because India is also having the higher number of endemic species, that is why we are contributing in the world biodiversity 7 to 8%. And we have very, very narrow landmass, very small landmass as compared to the other part of the world. So we are contributing. That is why we are also one of the 17 mega biodiversity country, and there are 34 biodiversity hotspots. And these hotspots, like India has got 4 hotspots. We have discussed all these things in this. Those hotspots, whole India is not very diverse, but there are certain areas in India, within India, like Western Ghats, Himalayas. Okay, these areas are very, very rich in the endemic species. So, because of these areas, these areas are the Northeast India high with these tropical rainforests. Higher rain is high biodiversity. Higher rain, higher humidity, high temperature means having higher biodiversity. So we discuss about the hotspot. There are 34 hotspots, and what are the threats to the biodiversity hotspots? That is what we discuss during our week 8. And those threats are these. First thing is the clearance of the forest. We are clearing the forest for the urbanization. That is the major threat. Encroachment. Encroaching the area, the forested area, for the urbanization. For the urbanization and for the establishment of the factories. Okay, this is the need of the hours. We have to expand ourselves, but not at the cost of the environment. Whatever we have, accordingly, we have to do. If you are cutting one tree, we make sure that we should plant 10 trees, and we should see growing all those 10 trees in a huge tree, 10 plants into the huge tree. So this is what we have discussed week 8, the mega biodiversity nation and the threat to biodiversity. And week 9 is, after discussing the biodiversity, its threats, what is the mega biodiversity, and how these wildlife biodiversity are threatened, we discuss about the conservation. We can do the conservation of biodiversity by 2 ways. One is the in situ conservation, another is the ex situ conservation. In situ conservation means protecting the species or the plant, whether it's animal or plant, in its natural habitat. That is in situ conservation. Like uh, um, declaring the areas as the protected areas. I believe you must have heard about the national parks, sanctuaries, conservation reserve, and community reserve. So this is what we have discussed during week 9. So we discussed about the protected area, the in situ conservation, and ex situ conservation are those conservation when the species is, the number of the species is less and we need more and more. What we do, that is we bring the species in a protected, creating the semi-natural habitat, for example zoos, and we protect the species. We try to breed them, and the number increases, we release the species in the wild. So ex situ, like in situ conservation, we have wildlife sanctuaries, we have national park, we have community reserve, we have conservation reserve. For the ex situ conservation, the thing which are not protected well in its natural habitat, we bring that kid in the semi-natural habitat, propagate them, breed them, and then when the population is enough, we release. That is called ex situ conservation. For example, the zoos, for example, the breeding centers, for example, the um, this botanical gardens. Okay, so this is what we have discussed in week 9. And week 10 about the social issues and the environmental sustainable development. What are the social issues, and how, and in social issues and the environment, what are the social issues linked, connected with the environment, and how we can do the sustainable development. Then week 11, we discuss about the environmental pollution. If you go to any metropolitan city, for example, like I am in Aligarh, and Delhi is very close to the Aligarh. If I go to Delhi during the Diwali period or during the February when the crops are being harvested, so during the Diwali period, because of the air pollution, because of the crackers and all other activities, the environment is very, very polluted. And that is the time when the hospitals are having the maximum asthmatic patient, because this pollution is creating problem to our health. So this is what we discussed in week 11, the air and land pollution, causes of environmental degradation, including ill effect of fireworks and impact of population and health. And week 12 is about the climate change and global warming, various conservation laws. Week 12, we discuss about the climate change, how the climate are being changed, what is the global warming, which we earlier discussed. And because of that, this course was mandatory for all the undergraduate students. And to overcome with all these problems, we have various conservation law. For example, for the protection and conservation of the animals, we have Wildlife Protection Act. We have Forest Conservation Act for the protection of the animal, for the plants. We have convention. We had one convention on the biodiversity. And on the basis of the convention on the biological diversity, we made our own law. And that is the Conservation of Biodiversity Act, CBD Act 2002. Under the CBT, all the living forms on the earth are well protected. So this is all we have discussed in the week 12. So I'm Dr. Urus, and Dr. Sharad is the co-coordinator. Apart from me and Dr. Sharad, we have involved two more faculty, Dr. Kaleem Ahmad, who has given very good lectures in these weeks, and Dr. Masood Ahmad Khan has also given lectures. We have since this is the wildlife, this is the environment and the biodiversity. So we have diverse people with the expertise involved to develop the best course, best online course. And I believe you could understand. Along with 4 faculty of Department of Wildlife Sciences in Aligarh, we have Dr. Iqbal Imam, who helped us in content writing, in developing the slides, giving his input for the smooth run of this online course. So this is all about our course. And if you have any question, you can ask me. If we have a dashboard, you cater your queries. You can always write your questions. We have tried our level best to make it a very, very simple online course, because we know not only the bio people are in this, but people who are having the arts background, people who are having the engineering background, medical background, all have to study this environmental study course. So this course, keeping these things in mind, we have simplified this course and try to make it easy, understandable for all the audience. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask. And this online recording will be available. Yes, Abrarul Haq, you can ask the question. Can I see your video? I mean, your video is not on. So it's always good to interact by seeing, otherwise without interacting. I mean, it's good to interact one by one to seeing each other's face. It's always good. Yes, please ask me the question.
I have 2-3 questions. One thing I just want to know that this exam, the final exam would be online or it will be in-house exam?
No, I believe you have taken up the assignments.
Yes.
So we have the weekly assignment.
That,
so out of
that I
this,
did all assignment up to week.
So 12 assignment we are giving, weekly assignment. Those are MCQ, and exam will be in the same pattern. We'll be having 100 questions as the MCQ. multiple choice question, and
This will be
that will be
online or
online.
in-house? Because that has, when I was filling the examination form, they asked about the center, and I selected my center in India because I am in Saudi Arabia, and I plan to come in October.
Fine, fine. So yes, we have to take the exam because assignments are different. You have to, out of 12, 8 assignment you have to attend, and you have to secure a certain mark. Then only you will be qualifying for the. Yes, this will be, these final exams will be in the centers because it's a mass exercise. We have more than 1,000 students, so you have to go to the center for to write the exams. So like in Aligarh, we have nearest center is Agra. So people who are enrolled in nearby areas will have to go to the center to write the exam. So I think the date has been announced. So you plan your visit accordingly and come to India. You are most welcome. Have you been to India or you are from India?
Yes. I am from Bihar. I did my master's from Aligarh Muslim University.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. So you are our
Actually,
yes.
actually, I am working as an environmental specialist and consultant under the Ministry of Environment in Saudi Arabia. But
Oh, that's great.
on the basis of my graduation, I have botany degree. So on the basis of that, but I need environmental studies certification so that it will add more value to my.
And it's mandatory for everyone. It is
Yes.
mandatory for everyone all over the world which
Yes.
are
Yes.
working.
Because
So,
I going through all this assignment and courses, I knew about the environmental regulations and the studies going on in India. I am well aware about KSA and the regulations of the KSA, and here the environmental regulations are very strict. They have so many permit restrictions for making any work factory or any construction, and for operation also they need do the environmental permitting. But in India, I was not aware about the so many biodiversity things, because here in Saudi Arabia there are very few biodiversity. We did survey, terrestrial survey in Neom. We did terrestrial survey in Red Sea. There maximum I found flora 30 to 40 species, and as far as faunas are concerned, 10 to 12 species only.
I know that is why we are one of the mega biodiversity country.
Yes.
And we have biodiversity, 4 biodiversity hotspots.
Yes.
I know lots of my students are working in NEOM project in Saudi, and
Yeah.
I believe you might be knowing them. And they are doing really good because they are trained from this department. And they also had this course. They also attended this course. So it's good. It's good that I'm really happy that my students are also there in Saudi Arabia. So which part of the Saudi you are based?
My office is in Al Khobar, but we are working in entire kingdom. We have projects all over the kingdom.
Yeah, lots of people are working for the NEOM project. It's a huge project.
Yes, I
Even
worked
one
in
of
Neom also. I worked in
even
Amala also. We are working for Red Sea Global also in Kidya, Daria, and Jafura, Zulf projects. So all projects we are working on that.
and good. Happy to know. So, what kind of vegetation you have in Saudi? Thorny forest, it's all desert.
Mostly desert area, but somewhere like in Neom, some part we have. I told you biodiversity, very less biodiversity as far as plants are concerned. We got 30 to 40 species only, different species, not more than that. Maximum I got in terrestrial survey 30 to 40 species.
Good. So we have much more.
Yes.
So thank you, Abrarul. Do you have any more question?
This center will be assigned when? Because I need to have some time so that I can plan my visit accordingly.
No, because we are dealing with lots of courses and lots of candidates. So date is fixed and centers are fixed. It cannot be preponed or postponed.
No,
Date has
that's what
already been announced.
that's what
So
I want to do.
actually, I have just developed the course. The
One week or before
NPTL
10
will
days.
take care of rest of the things.
Okay. So before 1 week of exam, like in the in the form, it is mentioned that 25th of October, there will be exam. So I'm planning to be there after 15th of the October.
Okay, then you have enough time to prepare. So
Okay.
you can. So what is your center? Where is your center?
My native, I'm from Bihar, so I selected Darbhanga.
Okay, Darbhanga. Fine. Darbhanga is also a center for NPTL.
Oh,
So
yes.
definitely, if you are coming on 15, I think Diwali holidays around.
Yes.
So you can attend the. You have planned well. Good. So you have to go to the center. Online cannot be done for the final exam.
Okay.
So thank you, Rarul. Any more? Anybody else wants to ask the question or want to have some discussion? I think I should wind up. And thank you very much for patient listening. And I hope you're enjoying this course. What is your rating, Abrarul? How we have developed this course? I mean, are you liking this course? If we
So
have
far,
to
so far
rate,
it's good. The information I got, I have the, not only basic idea, but the information that is in the course is very good.
thank you. So we just, if there are any suggestion to improve this course, you are most welcome.
How I can suggest you people?
Okay. No, you can always, I mean, you are my student, so definitely suggestions are invited with how we can improve so that make it more and more understandable to the audience. So you are lucky that you have a botany background, so few things you can understand what is terms like biodiversity, environment, ecosystem, mega biodiversity content, you understand. But the people who are having the science background or the arts background, for every term is new. What is the
Yes.
sustainability is new for them. So that is why we wanted the feedback. People, the students are sending us the feedback form and they are liking this course. So this is what we wanted to know. If we want to improve further, what we can do, what we can add up or what we can delete. This is what we wanted. Okay, thank you very much and nice meeting you. And I think with this, we should end up this session.
Thank you.
Thank you.